It records, so this time it's recording on
Is that
good
on?
audio. Yeah, that is on.
Welcome back to another episode here with the three bros.
My name is Owen Shrock.
My name is Elias Raber.
And I'm Merv.
And today's episode is going to be about...
Welcome to the Roof Coating Contractor Podcast, where ambitious entrepreneurs discover how to launch and grow a profitable commercial roof coating business. Whether starting up or ready to scale, you'll hear proven strategies and insider secrets to succeed in the booming commercial roofing market.
The 30, 60, 90-day plan. I think over the next 3 months, we need to make some plans. Because what we do over the next 3 months is really going to set up our year properly, or it's going to set up our year poorly.
I love plans. I can plan all day. I can plan all month. I could plan all year.
Mm-hmm. But then you got to execute it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like shooting a rifle or shooting a bow. You can aim and aim and aim. And aiming is really, really important because without aiming, you're not going to hit the target without aiming. But you can aim all you want until you pull the trigger. That's when you hit the target. We got to plan and then we got to execute.
All right, let's get to work. So 30-day plan. What is at the top of the list for the next 30 days? Let's say January into February.
Stay warm. That's pretty much on
It's
the top
cold
of the list.
out right now.
What if I'm in Florida? Do I still have to stay warm?
Comfort. Sounds like comfort. You know, the more you seek comfort, the faster you age, Mervin.
In the next 30 days, I'll be building some relationships, probably not as much as I should be, and getting on some roofs. So in this episode, I'll be doing more learning from Owen than I will be talking because I need to come up with some better planning myself. So I'm just curious what you guys have to say. I might have some follow-up questions for whatever you bring out.
We spent every day last week walking roofs except Friday. That was a good week.
In January?
In January, yeah.
Wow.
We didn't have much snow on the roofs, and we walked roofs from Columbus to Pittsburgh to Erie. That was a good week. So I know in our roofing company, we're the next 30 days, our goal is to sell jobs for the spring, walk a lot of roofs. You know, it's not a time of the year to just sit back and hope somebody calls you. If you don't have something going, if we don't have something going, you know, we'll be out. We'll literally be cold calling over those days. And for me, I'm working with some new guys in my team. And we're going to be doing some meetings. We're going on the road and doing some meetings across the country. So I know we're going to be adding some contractors to our team and doing some trainings as well. So over the next 30 days, my goal is to meet a lot of new people.
I had a conference call recently. I had Laverne on our monthly call for roofing contractor owners. He mentioned the biggest thing, the biggest pillar for someone to get to preferred contractor is the number of estimates. Because if you don't have an estimate, if you never did an estimate on the guy's roof, you can't sell it. And so his big deal for their roofers is get as many estimates out there as possible. So love that. Make connections. I'd say next 30 days, make sure I know you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. Your website is up to date and that people actually trust you when they visit your website.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some other marketing things like mailers and things like that. We're actually already doing some mail drops in January already. But over the next 30 days, take a minute, take a day, make sure your marketing is lined out for the year, but make sure your website in order, your Google Business Profile is in order, your online stuff, your Facebook, your LinkedIn page, all those should have the same name, address, phone number, and profile picture. Then it should be good for the whole year. But that's a task I would give you to do in the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Look professional. That's right.
I like it.
How to show up to go up.
And I like doing the increments 30, 60, and 90. You can do anything for 30 days. Get really focused on, okay, what do I got to do over the next 30 days? Because that amount of push forward, whether it's marketing, whether it's, maybe it's the next 30 days, you're going to just make sure your online presence is professional and you're cleaning that up. If that's not clean, it should be clean because today, people do get online and they check you out.
About 20% of your building owner customers are going to do research too, about 20% of those. So definitely clean that up. So that's a task for 30 days. Also go to convention, the national convention at the end of January. Make sure you show up because the breakthrough theme, that was our first convention we ever attended in 2000. 12 was Breakthrough Convention. We had about 6 people there, and we came back the following year. Because of things that happened at that convention, our organization just exploded in a good way.
Yeah.
We had like 40 people there the following year. So convention is a great place to be. A lot of contractors, a lot of workshops, some extra boot camps this year for roofers. All right, let's get into 60 days. What is the plan for the next 60 days?
Again, in our own roofing company, over the next 30 and 60 days, like we're really focusing on marketing and getting our name out, whether that's connecting with past clients and seeing if they have more business for this year. Like, is there any projects they need done? And then also new marketing. And this year, we're really going to ramp up our marketing. I mean, it really, in our company, Quaker State Roofing, I feel like it's the first year that we've had what I would consider extra money to choose to do something with. And that's I think it's a good place to be, where we can now say, you know what, we do have some money to do some really specific marketing. Where those first couple of years, I told Tony when he started this business, like, I'm not just going to hand you money to go advertise, because the process of you starting a new company and having to do it like everybody else, like, the last thing I want anybody in our team to say when they see Tony does $1.5 million his second full year is they say, of course, because Elias is your partner. No, you go do it like I had to do it. And so he cold called. I mean, his second day cold call, and he sold about a $10,000 job, and he got the ball rolling. Then he did some mailers with that money, and he did it like everybody's got to do it. And so now that company's in a place where he's like, hey, I got a little bit of money. So we're going to, over the next 30 and 60 days, we're going to really implement some very strategic marketing to get the phone calls coming in.
I would say mailers. Make sure you have, if you do mailers or cold call flyers, make sure those are on brand. So they should look similar to a website. You don't want people getting your cold call flyer, your door knocking flyer, or your mailer, and then they look up the company. And they're like, wait a minute, so the flyer is green and white and black and gray, but the website is red. Wait, is this the same company? Like, there's already these red flags going on. You don't want that. Unfortunately, that's happened quite a bit over the last 10, 15 years. So mailers, make sure they're professional, designed, have a good call to action. You have an offer code, contact method, and good pictures to support all of that. I would also say in March, Elias is hosting a For Nature's workshop. So we had our leadership event in December, and then we made a very special offer there that we're also extending to our listeners. And part of that offer includes a 4-week deal in March. So once a week in March, we'll get on Zoom, and then we'll break down the 4 natures, and we'll cover some of these topics we're talking about on the podcast when it comes to building relationships. How do you build relationships with these different types of people? And so we'll actually break that down. If you want more info, go to smarterroofer.com/lead, as in leader. So smarterroofer.com/lead to get info on that. And that's happening also in like the next 60 days.
That'd be fun. We're going to go through some of this book.
It's going to be a great time.
That'd be great.
We'll learn a lot of new things and get really sold on some things we've known for many years but are not practicing.
One thing I'm going to be doing is I'll be building and promoting a lot of seam tapers. I'm going to promote myself on this podcast a little bit too.
Shameless plug coming right up.
If you've never tried one, they're awesome on a flat roof for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They do work on metal. They're a little bit trickier to get started, but from the feedback I'm getting, it takes about a day to get the kinks worked out of it to where you and the machine know what you're doing. Everything's set right. Once you have it set right, 2 to 3 guys can roll on with some fabric on a roof. Like, it's unreal.
So what are some numbers? I love data. What are some of the, so what's the pro versus con? Like, just doing it by hand, you're out there taping seams versus using a machine.
So on a flat roof, let's say an EPDM, this was the first job I used one on. It was not quite as sophisticated as it is now even. EPDM roof, we did 40,000 square feet with 2 guys. There was 2 of us. We taped 40,000 square feet in 1 day.
Wow.
And that was with seams every 5 feet.
Wow.
That's moving.
Yeah, that's
so, like, it's literally like on the flat roofs, like the EPDMs and the TPOs and whatever, the membrane restorations, it's a no-brainer. It'll cut your taping labor down to a third, probably.
Wow.
For sure half, possibly a third, once you get to actually to know what everything's set right. Like as fast as you can walk, you're laying it down.
Wow. Well, I'll have to talk to you.
That's wild. So, return on investment is very, very fast on something like that.
Yeah.
How would people get a hold of you?
Maybe I get Owen to put the link for the website in the description. Can we do that, Owen?
I can probably make that happen.
All right, we'll do that. We'll put a link to the website.
You've been
in the
an
description.
awesome co-host, and it's been a lot of fun. So
Well, I
I'll make
appreciate
happen.
that.
I'll put a link in the show notes. There you go.
Yeah.
Literally, while we were sitting here, I had a customer text. We bid over 100,000 square feet for them, and it's all flat roofs, all membrane restoration. Perfect, beautiful membrane restoration. And he just texted and said, we bid 3 roofs for him, and he's like, we're going to go ahead with 2 of them. Which 2 should we do? So that's going to be that's probably going to be 60 or 70,000 square foot of seams. So
Cool.
I might have to buy one off of you.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah.
And like I said, on metal, it does work on metal. We have a new and improved roller system on it that actually helps the metal system as well. So if you have an older version, reach out and I'll hook you up with
Are you going to be at the annual roofing seminar?
If I can work something out with Owen, I will.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to have there.
Yeah.
For contractors.
Mervin, the inventor and podcaster. I love that, Mervin.
And roofer.
And
So,
roofer. Yep.
60 days, attend the Smarter Roofer event. What are you going to do over the next 90? So 30, 60, 90 days.
So you already mentioned Smarter Roofer. I have a bunch of people asking about that, a bunch of roofers asking and vendors asking. We're coming up with some new ideas this year. One of the big struggles out there right now is contractors that have grown their business and they're to the point, maybe they're around $1 million or so.
Yep.
And they really would love to go to the next level. And so this year, I think that'll be one of our topics, either in a breakout or main session. How do you make that happen going from being just by yourself, maybe a couple of helpers, $1 million a year, you're making great money, but you really want to go to the next level. And there are some things that need to happen to do that well. And so I think that'll be one of the topics this year because it's something people are facing. And so we'll have a bunch more topics like that. You know, what are some levers you can pull? What are small nuggets you can take home, put into your business, make more money, have more free time, and enjoy life more?
Love it.
So that's going to be Smarter Roofer, April 16 and 17. We'll get links to that eventually. I think you had 1 or 2 more things for 90 days in this 90-day plan besides marketing, website, mailers, connecting to people. What is something else we should do?
Yeah, I mean, I think our main focus on this podcast was talk to the roofer that isn't a huge roofer, the roofer that's maybe you're in your first couple of years. Marketing is really, really important. But then I would say, that 30, 60, 90 days, like really focus on getting that pipeline really full of potential new clients. But then after that 90 days, follow up with these people like literally like your life depends on it. Because honestly, your life depends on it. Like you have to follow up with these people, the people that are doing the best job of following up and staying in front of that customer. Like you want to follow up enough where you have Bob saying, man, you just called me. You just called me 2 weeks ago. My response always is I just don't want you to forget about us. When you're ready to move with it, I just don't want you to forget about us. And I've often had building owners tell me, I wish my guys would do that. I wish I'd have people that follow up for me like this. And I'm like, well, train them to. They can. There is way more loss not following up enough. I would dare say there's never anything lost following up too much if you have the right response when you get that pushback. Spend the next 90 days filling that pipeline for the year because your next 90 days is going to determine really how well you're going to do the rest of the year. And then follow up throughout the year. Be there. Stop in, call them, email them. More than just one form of contact. The more forms of touch you can have, the better off you're going to be.
As a new contractor or fairly new, like growing the business, some of your best leads are your small leads. For me, like last year, we really didn't do a whole lot of, I did quite a few large roofs as a subcontractor, but for myself, it was all just small jobs, but we did really good on those small jobs. And I have no warranty. I put out 0 warranties last year because of the nature of the work. But we actually did really good because it was just small repairs that were big problem areas. Like it was a huge issue for the building owner and it was a pain in the neck to do. So you're not bidding against the people who are out there for the gravy. And that's one thing to keep in mind is don't just, if you show up and there's 500 square foot area, that's a major problem. Don't just go, all right, $4 a square foot.
Right.
Because you're way under the money. Like
Yep.
if it's a big problem in a small area, they'll pay you really well. If you show that you're able to take care of this and to do it right and you will eliminate their problem, they will pay you really well to do that. I think a lot of times there's so much focus on the big stuff, the gravy, like 40,000 square footer.
Yep.
But then your margins are so much lower and your risk is higher, actually. Like a lot of these small jobs is very low risk. Like you'll make good money on it with minimum risk on it, which I think is very crucial for a young business starting up. We talked a little bit earlier about risk management. Like that's something to consider is target those smaller jobs a little harder.
I would much rather, as a new business owner, I would much rather see you get 20 little jobs than one big one.
Yeah.
Because now you got 20 hopefully happy customers that are giving you repeat business. You earn their trust. Maybe they're going to trust you with a bigger project next year, or maybe they're going to refer you to somebody else.
Yeah.
As opposed to one new customer. Last year, we were on the road, so I'm doing meetings, and I was in Harvey's office. Harvey, if you're listening, hello, Harvey. It's always awesome to come to your office, but one of the things last year, we were sitting in their office. He spelled his business out. He was just like, hey, look in our company and like get your feedback on some stuff. And one of the first things we figured out is they have a really nice sized roofing company, but if I remember right, about a third of their business was coming through one contact. It was one contractor that's pushing a third of his business or a third of their business. If I remember right, it was almost $1 million or $1.5 million worth of business from one contractor. And I'm like, that is really awesome when you have one really big customer. We all dream about that, but it's also really scary at the same time because you're one decision away from losing a third of your business.
Yeah.
And so I would much rather see somebody having lots of smaller clients than just that one big customer.
And a lot of those smallers turn into biggers. Like
100%.
especially like what we were doing, it was big buildings. Like there's a lot of opportunity there, but it's just so much easier to go in there and build that relationship if it's just a $30,000 project. Like because usually they don't have to reach up the chain. They can just sign off on it, and once they trust you, then the next time something happens, they don't even want to mess with anyone else. Because that's like trust is pretty low in the marketplace anymore.
So there's your plan, 30, 60, 90 days. The event's going to be National Convention, the 4Natures virtual workshop at smarterroofer.com/lead, and then the Smarter Roofer annual conference. I think this is year number 14 maybe that we're doing this event. It's been happening a long time. We've had a lot of people here from many, many different states. It's always a great time.
Yep.
Kicks off the season.
Yeah, don't miss it.
So be there for that. If you come to convention, which we all hope you do, say hi.
If you missed the Leadership Essentials seminar, you can now get the full recordings, plus a whole list of solid bonuses. That includes a 4-week live Zoom masterclass on sales and closing using the 4Natures framework, so you understand how different people think, decide, and buy. Check it out at smarterroofer.com/lead and grab the Leadership Essentials recordings, the upcoming live masterclass by Elias Raber, and more. That's smarterroofer.com/lead.